What if the next superpower is not the one you expect? What if the balance of global power shifts not with bombs, but with brains? Not with armies, but with ambition? Not with threats, but with a billion dreams marching in one direction? That world is no longer a prophecy. It is unfolding right now. And at the very heart of this transformation stands India. For too long, the story of the 21st century was written by the West. For too long, it was dominated by China. But right now, a new chapter is being inked. A chapter where India is not a side character, not a silent observer, but the protagonist. The numbers alone are enough to shake the world. India has overtaken China as the most populous nation. But population is just a statistic. What matters is the power hidden inside it. By 2030, more than 1 in every 4 Indians will be in the prime of productivity, the youngest, most energetic workforce on Earth. This is not just a demographic advantage. This is a demographic revolution. But here's the truth. Numbers do not create destiny. History has shown us that nations rise not because of what they have, but because of what they do with it. And India is doing everything. The first engine is technology. India has gone from disconnected villages to one of the largest digital networks on the planet. Over 800 million internet users, hundreds of millions banked through mobile apps, healthcare, education, commerce, all in the palm of a hand. This is not evolution. This is revolution. The second engine is reform. India is tearing down the barriers of the past. The goods and services tax unified the market. Bankruptcy reforms secured investors. Digitized governance cut through red tape. This isn't luck. This isn't chance. This is deliberate, planned, engineered. But wait, there is another dimension. A fire that burns not in policy, but in people. India's youth, born in the digital age, are not waiting for instructions. They are building startups, apps, AI breakthroughs. India is already the third largest hub of innovation. Unicorns are born not every decade, but every month. They are not just solving Indian problems, they are solving world problems. And the world is noticing. Billions of dollars are flowing in. Factories are shifting here. Supply chains are diversifying. As nations look for an alternative to China, they find India waiting. Skilled labor, competitive costs, a massive domestic market. India is not asking for a seat at the table. India is building the table. But critics whisper, can India survive its own challenges? Inequality, bureaucracy, climate pressure. These are not small problems. They are mountains. But India has climbed mountains before. Partition, poverty, wars, sanctions. And yet each time India rose from the ashes stronger than before. Because resilience is not just a trait of the Indian economy. It is the soul of India itself. Consider this. While many nations struggle with aging populations, India's youth remain its engine. While advanced economies bleed under pension costs, India invests in education, skill, and digital literacy. While others face shrinking markets, India's middle class explodes, hungry for growth, hungry for progress, hungry for tomorrow. This hunger is what fuels infrastructure like never before. Highways stretching across states, high-speed rail racing across cities, smart cities rising from dust. And energy, not from coal alone, but from the sun, the wind, the future. India is building the world's largest renewable energy capacity because growth cannot come at the cost of tomorrow. This is not just development. This is destiny. Step into India's role in the world. Pharmaceuticals, the pharmacy of the planet, digital payments, the envy of Silicon Valley, space missions, cheaper, faster, bolder than anyone imagined. When the pandemic struck, India didn't just protect itself. It became the lifeline of nations, shipping vaccines to the farthest corners of the earth. When the world looks for resilience, India stands as the answer, and yet the story's not complete. Because this is not just economics, it is geopolitics. The West once saw India as a pawn in its game against China, but India refuses to be anyone's pawn. Not Europe's junior partner, not America's bargaining chip, not China's shadow. India stands alone, independent, confident, and increasingly leading alliances of its own. India's story cannot be told without its greatest strength, the power of its people. This is not merely a statistic, it is the living heartbeat of a nation ready to define the future. By 2030, more than 23% of India's 1.5 billion people will be of working age, the youngest workforce anywhere on the planet. A young India means an India that consumes, innovates, and builds with energy that few nations can replicate. But this demographic wave is matched by something even more transformative: India's digital revolution. In the past decade, India has created models that the world now studies. Aadhaar, the world's largest biometric ID system, connected more than 1 billion people to financial services and governance. UPI, the homegrown payments platform, redefined how money moves: instant, inclusive, and borderless. Digital India bridged the gap between rural and urban, placing healthcare, education, and commerce at the fingertips of millions. And Startup India gave wings to entrepreneurs, making India the third largest hub of innovation in the world. Unicorns are not exceptions here. They are routine. This ecosystem proves that India is not merely catching up. It is setting the benchmarks for the world. Foreign direct investment has surged as global companies recognize that India is not just a consumer market, but a production base of the future. From Apple shifting assembly lines to global semiconductor giants planning facilities, India is becoming central to the global supply chain. Initiatives like Make in India and production-linked incentives are not slogans. They are magnets, pulling billions into manufacturing, electronics, and green technologies. And this shift is not accidental. As tensions rise with China, the world is searching for alternatives. India, with its workforce, democracy, and scale, is emerging as the natural choice. Supply chains that once depended on a single hub are being rewritten, with India as the anchor. And then comes the question of sustainability. For decades, development and climate were seen as enemies. But India has turned this challenge into its greatest opportunity. Already one of the largest solar energy producers in the world, India has pledged some of the boldest renewable energy targets on the planet. Solar parks stretch across deserts, wind farms rise along the coasts, and a growing electric mobility sector is reshaping urban landscapes. By investing in clean energy, India is not just reducing emissions, it is creating new industries, new jobs, and new markets. While many nations struggle to balance growth and climate, India is proving that green development can be the very engine of prosperity. India stands as a bridge, a stabilizer, a nation whose independent voice carries weight across continents. From the Quad to BRICS, from South Asia to the G20, India is shaping conversations, mediating conflicts, and ensuring that the world's future is not written by one power alone. Its credibility comes not just from military strength or economic growth, but from moral authority, the ability to lead without submission, to partner without dependence. Imagine this. By 2030, the world's largest workforce, one of the largest consumer markets, the fastest growing economy, and a nation that shapes technology, trade, and sustainability conversations. This is not a dream. This is not a maybe. This is the trajectory. But pause. Ask yourself, what does this mean for the world? It means supply chains rebuilt. It means trade routes redirected. It means power equations rewritten. It means when the world speaks of growth, they will speak of India. And so, the question is no longer if India will lead. The question is, are we ready for it?